Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So one of the things we've learned over the past week is what data Google is receiving and sending from Gemini AI. And why is this important? Because every time you do a search, the AI, let's say you're searching on Gemini AI, the AI is doing a calculation. It's figuring out your grounding score or the grounding score of the question you're asking. And then based on that, it's pulling data from SERPs. Now, if you remember from the previous video I discussed, if you're ranking in Google Maps, if you're ranking in SERPs, you're going to rank in AI. Okay, so whether it's ChatGPT or whether it's Gemini AI, because the data is still being pulled from SERPs. So there's this person called Dejan, I think is Dejan, and they published an article, and I found out about this on Twitter. That mainly showed what data was being sent to Google from Gemini AI and what data was being pulled from Google. Okay, so to understand what's going on, you need to wrap your head around a concept called grounding. So grounding is a score between 0 and 1, and mainly 0 is the most grounded, and 1 is the least grounded. So let's say with 0, it's a very, very factual or fact-related question, whereas 1 is a very open-ended or a question where you can get creative. By default, Gemini AI uses a zero point 0.3 score. So 0.3 is somewhere in between. So but usually that score is decided based on the question that you ask. So if you're asking Gemini AI, which is the largest country in the world, Gemini AI does that calculation and says, let's say a zero point 0.2 is to answer that question. And that goes to Google SERPs to answer that question and pulls that data in from Google SERPs. So that's mainly the concept behind it. But what we don't know or didn't know up until recently is what data is being sent from Gemini AI and what data is being pulled in from Google search. And so apparently this person has done exactly that. So for now, I've not been able to replicate this, and I think Google has probably closed the loop or closed the hole in this. Another code that's generated. So in the above screenshot, we see grounding link, which links to this URL, which refers to the vertex URL, which then resolves to the actual targeting URL for the query. No hallucination, no broken links, real-time and up-to-date snippet information. And so what this means is a lot of the information that you're seeing is being pulled from factual information off the internet. And also that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of copied uh, knowledge or copied articles that come into Gemini AI is because of this grounding thing that's sometimes goes wrong. And so it's literally plagiarizing web pages on the internet. And so what he did, he ran a custom query in Chat in Gemini AI, and the query was custom cycling jerseys. Okay. And the task was to return a JSON-like context supplied by the search tool. Do not alter the data provided, title, URL, and snippet. Leave them as they are provided. So primarily, he was prompting ChatGPT to provide it with raw data that it gets from Google search. And this is the raw data that he got. So you got the title. So customize your own cycle clothing in the 3D kit designer. And you can see there's a link, there's a URL over here, oio.ca. And I think, like I did in my previous video, it picked up where this person is from. So this person is from mainly Canada. It picks up a local SERP for the Canadian region, and it then provides him with this snippet. And the snippet is pretty long, and it's in plain English, so there's not much to see here. And then what he did, he went ahead and he verified if this content was pulled from a website or the real website. And then he said the above has been verified. It was a genuine website copy and not any form of hallucination. I haven't been able to replicate this in Gemini AI. I find this amusing. I feel that the model's classic confident wrong answers when being probed about context size. To be fair, the model has no actual knowledge and it's a tool. And then there's a few applications of the grounding method over here. A clear application of the grounding mechanism is immediately obvious in the Google AI mode. So and this is how the website appears in SERPs. And observe the summarization in the snippet. It looks very much like it was later supplied as additional info. Google's Gemini AI model gets to take a peek at Google search results when chatting to users. This is called grounding. Grounded AI chat sessions are type of retrieval augmented generation RAG, where models no longer relies on internal word knowledge alone. It also gets to see fresh and up-to-date data. And this is data from Google Search Index, and you can see like literally it's pulling in the code from the SERP, and it's choosing a SERP, and it's running that. And then here's the code for what was provided. So when he ran this, he also got the code, as I mentioned earlier. So you can see, so it says here, type is search result, Google search, custom, cycling jerseys, design your own online. And here's the link to it. This is a .au site, and then here's a snippet. Then the other one is also another website, and then there's another web. This is the entire code for the site. So the above is a JSON from the results is applied for the query, including the type, the source, the title, the snippet, and additional information. And so the important part here is, what does Google really associate with your brand? And it's associating the phrases, the type of content you have, like if you have products, if you're an e-commerce store, and also like what your website is about as a whole, so as a brand. So each time you go to Gemini AI, uh, first thing Gemini AI does is it will ground your question. So it'll decide whether this is something that will benefit from real world SERPs, or if this is something that requires a creative answer. It then goes to Google search, it pulls in the JSON file, distills that JSON file into an answer that sometimes will include hallucination, and sometimes it will just have a copy paste answer, like in this case. And then when that's done, it will then provide you with that answer and also links to sources from where that answer was sourced from. Usually, it's not only it's just one source where it's pulling that information from. So in other words, this is a glorified plagiarism system that Google is using. And then if you're searching on Gemini AI, there's no reason for you to go to these places unless you're buying something. If you're an e-commerce store, that's fine, because you have to buy from an e-commerce store. Gemini will not sell it to you. But if you're someone who's providing data or information, there's no reason for the user to go and get that information from you. Which is why this is probably one of the most important things that I've learned this week, and I think everyone should go ahead and still optimize their sites, still brand their sites, because it's still gonna have a lot of value. Probably not so much for just informational sites, but now still for service-based sites, for local sites, for e-commerce stores. Watch my previous video about this, which demonstrates exactly how this works. And like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy ranking.